Welcome to the reading of Turning 25 on my 52nd birthday. This is a story of my life right after my divorce as I grew into a new woman. Please comment any questions on the video below. I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And thank you so much. Please like and subscribe also. Thanks. Chapter 24 and 25. It was great to be home. Veronica and her daughter were both trying to get themselves in their new metaphysical world. Veronica was really getting into tarot card readings, and Nicole seemed more into the angel cards, but was still really searching for what she wanted to do with her abilities. Going to the groups was helping. Both of them learned how to meditate and protect themselves. Veronica was also starting to really get into exercise more and more. She was jogging when she could and started adding squats and push-ups to her routine. She was enjoying taking care of herself. But she was finding the more and more she was losing weight, the more her boobs were not really appreciating the weight loss. She was beginning to wonder if she may need to have some implants. It was a thought for sure. She made an appointment with a plastic surgeon. She needed to look more feminine. She wanted to be attractive. She had already lost 30 pounds. She looked good and felt really good. The exercise was helping her. Later that evening, Robert texted her. She had a glass of wine, and it seemed when they started texting or talking, their conversations went on for a long time. They kept going slightly on the sex side, but would never stay there. Veronica wanted the attention, but she wasn't sure this was the person she was willing to be with sexually. He did not make her tingle in the right places, and she was finding out that this was really important, especially if the relationship was going to be about sex. She certainly didn't want to have anything long distance relationship. Sex was all it could be. She liked Robert. He was nice and fun to talk to, but she knew she was stringing him along. She just wanted someone to take her mind off of Rick. That wasn't fair to Robert. It wasn't fair to her either. She needed to stop this. She really needed to take a step back and really look at what she was doing. She certainly was not going to string someone along, make them believe that they may have a chance at a relationship when they really didn't. She really was not in the market for any kind of long-distance relationship, not really even a friendship. She needed to find a friend in town. That was what she really needed. Some days were wonderful, and she would take a run or dance for her workout, do some crunches, push-ups. Then other days she was a wreck, feeling like she needed a man. It was very strange. She didn't need a man financially. She didn't need a man to do things around the house. What she did need was a man to have physically, with a man to hold her when she cried. The only time she felt lonely was when she cried. Whoa! She never had a man that she trusted enough to allow herself to cry in front of. Not a true deep cry. She didn't want a man that would tell her everything was going to be okay, or a man that would tell her to stop crying, but a man that would just hold her while she was, not saying a word. One that would just let her be in that moment, but give her that comfort of a warm body to curl up against, and the heart to know that she was safe. Was there even a man like that in the world? Veronica sometimes wondered if she would ever find that in a man. Well, if she didn't, she certainly was not going to settle for anything less. She knew what she needed. As far as sex, she just needed a man that made her feel good about herself physically and mentally a little bit. If there was a connection, then she could perform sexually. She would not push anything. She needed to stop feeling so desperate. There were men out there somewhere. They were not going to drop out of the sky. She just needed to scope. She probably needed to stop worrying about it at all too, and something would happen. The week came and went. The week came and went. She had a couple projects that she was working that kept her mind off of Rick, but she still had him in her thoughts frequently. Veronica did not have anywhere to travel for the next couple of weeks. She was trying to get her personal life straightened out a little. She was not staying up with her finances. She was not really keeping up on the house. Her daughter was helpful, but she knew she couldn't expect her to do everything. But it seemed even when she was home, she was not worried about cleaning or organizing. She was working out and trying to get in tune with her tarot cards. She needed to find someone to read that would help her get a little better at readings. One day at the office, she stepped outside to take a walk. She usually did this a few times a day, and while she was out, a truck driver stopped and out of the window asked if she was single. She said she was, and he said he had been admiring her for a while and wanted to know if she would give him her phone number. She thought about it for a minute and then thought, why not? She needed to take a leap of faith. What the heck? He wasn't one of those grungy truck drivers. He looked like he was dressed decent, so she gave him her name and phone number. He hadn't even been half an hour and he sent her a text. His name was Jake, and he sent her a picture, but of course, like all men, it had to have a picture with the sunglasses. Why couldn't men just send a picture of themselves? It seemed they always had to have the sunglasses on. He asked her to send one, so she sent a couple pictures that she had taken that on Facebook. And he said, can you send me a picture of the way you look now? And she texted him and let him know that she was in the office and didn't need to be taking selfies. It seemed like she was only attracting younger guys. She asked him his age, and he was 32. What was it about her attracting younger men? It wasn't like she was putting an effort into it. Yes, when she was on the Cougar website, that made sense. But she was off the website now. They stopped texting after she finally told him that she needed to work. She couldn't be distracted all day long. She was finishing up at her work for the day. Most days were not really very exciting, but this day seemed okay. It was very nice to have someone interested in her, or so she thought. She felt her luck was starting to show. She felt her luck was starting to show she didn't have much in the man department. Later that evening, Jake sent her another text wanting to know if they could meet. He wanted to see her tonight or tomorrow. She had already promised herself that she would not deviate from her workout schedule unless it was a complete emergency. She didn't want to get in the habit for it to be okay to not work out. It was hard enough to stay in the habit. She told him she had plans. He then proceeded to ask what was going on. Wait a minute. They have only been texting for a day, and him wanting to know what she's doing. She was sarcastic and said, I have to work out, then shower. I have plans for dinner with my daughter. And when we get home, I need to work on my novel. He just said, oh. Very strange that she was already wanting to know exactly what she was doing. That was her red flag. It almost made her uncomfortable. The next day, she sent Jake a text and said she made a mistake and she should not have given him her phone number, and that she really didn't want to talk to him anymore. And she asked him to stop texting her. Well, boy, this guy could not take no for an answer. He continued to plead with her and say that he really wanted to get to know her. She was adamant and just asked him to stop. She didn't hear from him for a couple days, so that was good. She was going back to San Fernando in a week or so and was excited and also a little apprehensive. How would she be treated by her friend? She was not going to put herself in any kind of vulnerable position with him. She wasn't going to get her feelings hurt again. So she just assumed she wouldn't see him, and that was just fine. That was the best way for things to happen. But she wanted to have him in her so bad, but she could hardly stand it. This adventure was really showing her how to use her patience. No. Oh, that was stupid. Okay, sorry. I'm going to see if I can cut that out. I probably won't be able to, but 24 and 25. That guy was, the story will go on with him. I think she was just assuming that he wanted to know more, about what she was doing than it was just a question, what are you doing? What are you doing? We all ask it. But she just was finding every excuse not to talk to men, pretty much. And now I'm forgetting what else, but she was really starting to lose weight and really getting into exercising, and she was actually getting pretty focused on it at this point. She just made sure that she worked out to her, about 3 days a week. She was still walking quite a bit, so and she wasn't seeing anyone at this point either, so there wasn't a lot going on with her, just kind of taking a break. There's a little misprint in here about her going to San Fernando and seeing Rick, but I'm not sure what to say about that, so I'll leave it alone for right now. I'm gonna have to fix the book. Anyway, that was 24 and 25.